Hi everyone, welcome to Robotics and Drone Technology, brought to you by Stereo and the YLEAD Virtual Fellowship, powered by iCapital Center for Development. So, before I proceed, here is a quick introduction about myself. I'm a STEM advocate and a cloud architect, and also a software line. We're going to focus on robotics, brief history of robot classifications, applications, and we are going to build our first robot. And finally, the flying robots. So we are going to emphasize more on drones, types of drones, and also how to build, how a drone is formed, and also the applications and uses of drone. Looking at the image here, it symbolizes that a robot is a machine that carry out a performance. So sometimes a robot can look like a human and also can mimic another creature like a bird. So here we have robot is a simple machine or a device that helps humans carry out complex and repetitive tasks. So you don't want to do something continuously, then you indulge the activity of a robot because of the tasks can be boring, monotonous, and also stressful. So a typical robot consists of the microcontroller, which is the brain, the sensor, which receives signals, and the actuators, which is more like the motors that moves around the robot. Robot is an aspect of artificial intelligence in the field of computer science, and the STEM curriculum leverage on this aspect of AI to impact students technically and also to prepare everyone for the future of work. So that's one of the reasons why you should learn robotics, because it's going to give you the opportunity to thrive in the fourth industrial revolution. History of robots. So talking about the brief history of robots, robot is a programmable multifunctional manipulator designed to move materials, parts, tools, a specialized device for carrying out different tasks. The word robotics was coined by the writer Isaac Asimov first, used the word in 1942. So Asimov built a robot called the Asimov, which is by Isaac Asimov in Japan, and he created the robot. So that's when the name was coined. But we also have a couple of robots that came after that in 1942. You have the Ultimate robot, which is also produced, and some of them were used for musical activities, and some of them were used for production of cars in the car manufacturing plants, which I'm going to show you a video of how that works. Robot is any automatically operated machine that replaces human efforts. Not all robots perform functions in a human-like manner. So we could have a robot that just communicates with you, and we could also have robots. So when we have to classify robots, these are the pictures that should depict some of the classes of robots. Here we have the industrial robot, which is more like a collaborative robot. You can see this for manufacturing cars and stuff. Then we also have the mobile robot, which is more like a ground rover. Then we have the legged robot, which is like a dog or animals. Then we have the drone, which is the UAV, unmanned area vehicle, or the unmanned aircraft systems. Then we finally have the humanoid robot, which looks more like a human. So these are the classes of robots. But then, if you look at the list here, you find out that we have several applications of robots. From what we have here, we have robots that can be used for medical activities to treat patients, while the doctor control remotely with the aid of a VR goggle glass. So you could control your robot with your Google headset, and when you wear the headset using VR virtual reality technology, you can control your surgical instruments right away from your comfort zone. Then the second application of robots, it can be used for manufacturing cars, airplanes, ships, and whatnot. So this is where robotics is used in the application of automotive devices. You can also use robots to create aerial surveillance equipment like drones, right? So here we have a quadcopter that could be used for carrying out area surveillance and area photography. Then we have the military robots, which could be used for military activities and operations. This is an example of a Dogo made by the Israeli, which could shoot weapons to the enemy at the spot. Then lastly, we have the educational robots. Or before the last one, I'm going to talk about service robot. But then educational robots is something you could build from your house, and you can program it yourself and tell the robot what you want to do. Then lastly, it's the service robot. So here we have the Asimov we talked about earlier on. The Asimov is like the first primate robot that could grab things with its hand. And also it also had the ability to perceive and also climb staircases. So this is like one of the breakthrough in the world of robotics. You could build robots. For you to get started in building robots, you could even start with a platform called Tinkercad to build simulated robots right from your web application like Google Chrome, Edge, or Mozilla Firefox. All you need to do is to go to tinkercad.com, sign up, then get started. Here I have a picture of a simple robot that was used to detect obstacle. So this is an obstacle avoidance robot whereby once you detect an obstacle, the servo motor closes. So you could use this for your automatic windows or your automatic door system, whereby once someone come close to the object, the servo motor tilts to a particular angle. Then once the person leaves that environment, the servo motor then tilts back to the normal position. Alright guys, so let's build our simple robot today.
So
So the
let's
first
build
thing is to
a
go to
simple
your URL,
robot
which
demo.
is tinkercad.com.
I have a video I'm going to show you so we can see.
When you type in tinkercad.com, it takes you to the environment, and you see you can be able to design these designs, 3D designs, circuit, code blocks, lessons. But for now, we want to work with circuit, so you create new circuit. But then you must have signed up in this account. You must have registered in the account. So when you click on create circuit, it opens a blank page for you to work with. So it loads the page. In the environment, here we have the basic component. Then here we have the working environment, and these are like the tools you may need for what you want to use them for. So for example, I want to make an LED blink. You drag the LED down to this environment, then you scroll down a bit, you look for the Arduino, then you drag it as well to this environment. Then what next? You try to connect these cathodes to the GND, then the anode connected to pin 13. Right, so now I'm going to click on this, then drag it down to this point. Alright, so I'm straighten it, then click on this anode and drag it to pin 13. So you can give the color of your LED if you want to, like I'm going to use red, then cathode, black. Right, so now it's time to code. So when you click on this code environment, you see block. Then if you want to see your text, you want to convert this block into script coding, you can click on block plus text. Then you'll see whatever you have as your block, it's converted to the text. So here we have void setup and void loop. Void setup is like first an activity that runs once, while void loop is what moves continuously, what operates continuously. So here we're going to be blinking an LED for 1 second, then taking it off for 1 second continuously all through. So I'm going to click on code to hide it. Then you click on start simulation. The LED comes on for 1 second. It goes off for 1 second. So this is how you can build a simple robot using Tinkercad online virtual environment. So in case you don't have the hardware kit, you can start up robotic career just using the internet and this platform. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm expecting you to start tinkering and start building robots today. Thank you. Just using the internet and this platform. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm expecting you to start tinkering and start building robots today. Thank you. Alright, so we just watched a little clip on how we could get started with robotics. So let's dive now into drones. Flying robot is called the unmanned aerial vehicle. We also have other drones or other rovers, other devices that we could refer to as drones or robots. So here we have the ground-based rover. Then we also have the underwater drone. But here our topic is going to center more on the drones that is used for aerial activities. So here we have the unmanned aerial vehicle. The drones are formerly known as the unmanned aerial vehicle, which is essentially a flying robot. However, drones can be simple rovers on the land and also can also be an underwater device. Types of drones. So in case you don't know what the types of drones, these are the basic types of drones. We have the horizontal takeoff and landing drones. Then we also have the vertical takeoff and landing drones. Then we have the eVTOL, which is the hybrid, most times they call it. So it's more like the combination of the horizontal and the vertical takeoff because they have wing and they also have propellers. So hybrid drones are more effective and they also have fuel efficiency because they could fly longer distance and also could manage your fuel consumption rate. So if you look at this category, you find out that the VTOL are called most times multi-rotor drones. The fixed wing are the horizontal takeoff and landing drones, and the hybrid drones are more or less the mixture of both. You have this, which is your radio transmitter, and this is the direction in which every propeller should move. Then we have the tricopter, which is for 3 propellers, quad for 4, hexacopter for 6, and octacopter for 8. So in case you see a drone flying, you can say, oh, this has a 4 propeller, so it's automatically called an octacopter. So let me just quickly run through this and go to the next slide. Interesting uses of UAV. What are the interesting uses of UAV? So the first thing is that the UAV are used for photography. So you could use UAV to take pictures, videos, area photography. Use it for scanning, for imagery, like to check for thermal imagery for your construction works. You could also use UAV for videography, which is very important, and I use that for carrying out events, videos, or movies, and the likes. So if you want to get a career with the use of drones, you could start up something with this. Then the other one is drone racing. So like there's a sport called drone soccer currently, and I can share you a video of that so you can see what it's all about. So you could also use your drones to carry out an activity, which is more like to carry out a sporting activity, right? Then you could use drone for delivery and to send an item from a location to the other. You can send a food item. You can send anything whatsoever to a particular place. Then here we have disaster relief drone. Disaster relief drone can actually be used to carry out relief materials from a point of less incidence to a point of high incidence. So if you have like a disaster and you're trying to send the medical facilities to them, you could send some couple of stuff with the use of drones to those areas that typical cars can't travel to, right? So these are one of the important uses of interesting uses of drones. Then I think lastly we also have agriculture, but then there are still other ones. They use for construction, they are used for mining, they are used for so many things. They're used for but yeah, the agriculture part of it is that now drones and they are actually also being used for agricultural purpose. They can be used for spraying your farmland. They can be used for spraying fertilizers on farms, spraying pesticides, and they're used to protect the plants from unwanted flying animals. Like there's a drone that looks more like a bird, so it chases other birds from coming close to the farm or to the airport, right? So these are like future uses of drones, and there are still future uses of drones, and you could get a career in this field. Drone simulation, I would like you to watch. So you could see the movement of drones, like how do a typical drone move? They have like 6 degrees of freedom: the forward, the backward, the left, right, and the yaw axis, which is the Z, Y, and the X axis. So let's see this video and let me know your thoughts on those axes. All right. Okay, so I want to explain the movement of the drone. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is throttle up, then throttle down. Then we have your right, and we have your left, right? Then lastly, I'm going to talk about the roll and the pitch. So pitch means move forward, that's pitch forward, and pitch backward. So then we have the last one, which is the roll. So roll left, then roll right. So what we have in total is pull up and down, yaw, then roll and pitch. This is actually the references I
Alright,
was able to get
that's
some
that
of my
about that.
content. And I believe you enjoyed this walkthrough. But I want to show you some videos now after this slide. So thank you for watching this part, and let's see if you can start your drone career after watching this clip. YLEAD Virtual Fellowship, I Capture, brought to you by Cyril Azubine.